So now we're going to look at some of the calculations that you might be doing in your sample test. You've been given a limited number of techniques to use during the labs, and they're the only ones that we expect you to use during the test. And you can decide what way you want to do it. I'm just going to show you some of the techniques, and then it's up to you to decide what way you want to implement the system on the day. So let's look at this base rate per day. And what we're told is that there's a certain rule about this base rate. So it depends on the car type, and here's the rules down here that I've set up. So you've got the basic, intermediate and luxury, and you've got different daily rates of €20 a day for a basic car, 40 for an intermediate and 60 for luxury. So they're the rules. So remember, it's very important that when you're setting up these little rules tables, that you do it in such a way that you can actually use the information. So if I click in here on where it says 20, you can see up here that it is 20. It's something I can work with in the formula. Because it has euros just means that I formatted it as euros. But the actual contents is, as you can see up here on the contents bar, formula bar, is 20, not €20. So you've got to make sure that when you set up the table that you can use the information in your calculations. So here I'm just going to do a simple nested if statement in order to decide what the base rate is for the car per day, depending on what the user has selected over here. So if I click into this cell, I'm going to now do the calculation. So equal to, I have an if statement, bracket. The cell that I'm testing, so the logical test I'm going to put in here is if the content of this cell here, which is B5, where the user inputs the type of car that they want. Okay, if that's equal to, and I'm just going to type the information in here. So that's equal to basic, comma, then the amount they're going to pay is the content of this cell down here. So it happens to be €20 at the moment, but I could change that later on if I wish to. So I can change my rules. Comma, now I need to ask the next question. If, bracket, the content of this cell here is equal to, and we'll put in intermediate, and then they're going to pay €40. So I click on cell for €40. Otherwise, they're going to pay €60. So you don't need another if statement because it's the only default value. If neither of these are true, it must be this one here. And then you close the brackets. So we've got 1, 2 brackets because we have 2 if statements, and press enter. Now let's see what happens. When the user here selects luxury, it's €60. When the user selects basic, it's €20, and so on. So that's the way it works. Now, once you're happy that that's actually working, you can then select the rules table as I'm showing you here. Cut it because you're moving it. Don't copy, you must cut. And go to where you want to put it and paste it in. Okay, so there's my rules. And when I go back to the price calculator, okay, let's see, does it still work? Well, if I put in luxury, €60, so it does work. The total charge here is simply the amount per day multiplied by the number of days, which is 7. That's what gives me the total charge. That's very simple. So that's the base rate per day.